Is the Democratic Party on the brink of a total internal meltdown? It certainly looks that way, as top-tier officials and high-ranking lawmakers are now openly breaking ranks with their own main Senate candidate, Graham Plattner, as a mountain of disturbing revelations threatens to derail their 2026 midterm strategy. Before we continue, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in U.S. politics, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow and ensures you never miss a breaking update. Let's look at the facts. Graham Plattner was never the candidate the D.C. establishment wanted. He surged to the top of the ticket almost unexpectedly after Maine Governor Janet Mills exited the race. At first, there was hope or perhaps just necessity that he could be the one to finally unseat longtime Republican Senator Susan Collins. But that hope has evaporated, replaced by a week-after-week cycle of scandals that would make any political consultant break out in a cold sweat. We aren't talking about standard policy disagreements here. We are talking about unearthed Reddit posts where he mocked a wounded soldier, and most damaging of all, a photograph of him dancing shirtless, revealing a tattoo of a Totenkopf, a Nazi death's head symbol. While Plattner has claimed he didn't understand the nature of the symbol at the time and has promised to have it removed, the damage to his credibility is done. Even Democratic Senator John Fetterman has called out the situation as crazy, pointing directly to the tattoo as an example of an anti-Semitism problem that he believes is festering within the party. This has triggered what many are calling a civil war between the moderate and progressive wings of the Democratic Party. Melissa DeRosa, a former chief of staff to Andrew Cuomo, didn't mince words when she told Fox News that moderate Democrats wouldn't exactly be shedding tears if Plattner loses, noting that his candidacy is merely a symptom of a much larger, deeper divide in the party's identity. The Republican Senatorial Committee is having a field day, watching from the sidelines as Democrats turn on each other, with party spokespeople labeling the situation as in shambles. What does this mean for the 2026 midterms? The Democrats view Maine as one of their most viable opportunities to regain control of the Senate. But when you have representatives like Jake Auchincloss publicly calling a candidate's history personally disqualifying and top figures like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren remaining conspicuously silent when pressed on their support, it sends a message of complete dysfunction to the voters. It suggests that the party is caught in a trap of its own making. Do they stick with a candidate who is increasingly seen as a political pariah, or do they admit that their vetting process has failed so spectacularly that they have no choice but to let the seat go? The outcomes here are grim for the Democrats. If they continue to support Plattner, they risk losing the trust of moderate voters who find his behavior repulsive. If they formally disavow him, they risk alienating the grassroots wing of the party that rallied behind him in the first place. Either way, the Civil War label is looking more accurate by the day. This is a classic case of political baggage becoming so heavy that it finally snaps the foundation of the campaign. So, where do you stand on this? Is Graham Plattner a victim of a media pylon, or is he exactly the type of liability that deserves to be pushed out of the party? Does his history prove that the Democratic Party has lost its way, or is this just an outlier that got through the cracks? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one, and I want to know what you think is really going on behind the scenes. This situation in Maine is a masterclass in how a single candidate's lack of discipline can ripple through an entire national strategy. As the 2026 cycle heats up, it is becoming clear that the biggest threat to the Democratic Party might not be their opponents, but the divisions simmering within their own ranks. We will be following this story closely as it develops, so stay tuned for more updates. Thanks for watching.